This is going to be cool. Oh, hey, we've got some stuff to unbox today that's pretty cool. One of them is going to be the special edition Ghost of Yotei controller. Well, I'm not too interested in the game right now. Controller was just too cool to pass up. We also have this actual sealed copy of Kingdom Hearts. We have the Tron Ares CD soundtrack. That's kind of important. And Final Fantasy Tactics. Plus, because we're doing Tron, I'm also going to do this little unboxing here. We have this cool Tron mini arcade game system here with one of the minifigures. That's pretty cool. And I also, just show off real quick, was able to pick up some pretty cool games. We have a new Sega Game Gear game right there. Haven't played it yet. But this is cool. Not only does it come into this cool case, but we also get Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I don't know if you can read that properly. Maybe you can read that. That's the title. I've seen it a couple of times, but for like 12 bucks plus a case, that was just too good. But something else also popped up. So I want to show this off real quick before we get to those main things. And it is, we have these sets right here, which are the Star Trek um, micro machines. As you can see here, here's set one. They're also collectors, they are numbered. So you actually can see quite a few. There's DS9. This has original series, Romulan Warbird and everything. And it also comes, as you see up here, with a special edition only available in this set, Constitution class refit Enterprise. I believe it's the A. So that's pretty cool. Then they have the secondary edition right here. All of these cool ships, including, as you can see there, three sets this time from yesterday from All Good Things. So it's pretty cool. And some of them are actually from Generations, a couple of other ones. That's a pretty cool set. And unfortunately, they get more expensive as time goes on. The first one was $100. The second one has been going for $200. I got it for like 120. But there's actually a third set, and thankfully we now have that. This one is still sealed. As you can see here, the exclusive ship is the Enterprise E. It's right around first contact. A lot of these are from, Deep Space Nine and Voyager. There's one that's from the movies. You can see right here, for example, there's the Saratoga from the opening of Deep Space Nine. And one cool one is, of course, right there is the Voyager. Her nacelles actually go up. And in fact, here you can see a little bit more. Pretty cool. There's the space dock shuttle from the motion picture, probably from 4. Voyager stuff, including the Voyager shuttle. There's all this stuff. Jim Hadar. Pretty cool. And the price tag, although that's not cheap, was much better because this set usually goes for 300 bucks online. So just thought I'd get this out of the way real quick. Plus, the cool part is the number there, that's actually really low. That's below 400. I would have been impressed if it was below 500, but this is a pretty cool set. So thought I would get that out of the way. All right. Now let's get to the first thing. I think we should do Ghost of Yotei first. I just wanted to get it out of the way. So those aren't being opened. All right, so we have Ghost of Yotei, limited edition. Pretty nice, pretty cool. The box is pretty awesome. I still have to beat also Ghost of Tsushima because everything gets in the way and other stuff. Here we go with Trenchy Throwing Knife. All right, we're in. I wasn't expecting to see this. So, yeah. All right, here we go. And yeah, not cheap, but it works. I love having these spare controllers and stuff, and these cool ones. And also, I still have my Astrobot one. I love that they come in these boxes. I'm probably gonna save this one too. All right, here we go. I love that you can just push down and like pull it out. All right, here we go. And there we go. All right. Nothing in these little spots. Here's the controller. Package information. I'll be plugging this in to play it. All right. Here we go. Okay, that's cool. I don't know if you can see it, but the gold point on here is actually shiny. It's very metallic. It's really cool. Oh, I did not notice that. Look there. You can actually just make out like little cuts and stuff. It's actually in the plastic. And they really made it That's cool. That's really cool. And it's even up here. And look, Ghost of Yotei on the back. That's pretty cool. So this is actually really cool. I love how the buttons have this really light gray kind of feel and stuff. Light gray here. It feels pretty good, but I have to admit, it's like one of the. I see now why it's like $85. I mean, that's impressive. This year, you can actually see it with the light. It goes all the way down, but it doesn't appear to interfere with any of the production. Like right there, that's an actual one. I can feel it. That's cool. That's cool. It's even on the touchpad. I don't know how you could do that without interfering, but that's pretty cool. All right, that's our first one. All right, moving on. Let's do Kingdom Hearts. So I've had this game before. This is one of the coolest Nintendo DS games out there. It's actually pretty close to looking like a PS2 game, which is, you have to realize this is technically the game that came out before Kingdom Hearts 2, which tells his story right there. So that's pretty cool. All right, we're going in. This is probably a re-release and stuff. There's no other, yeah, because I can see but still, they actually have it with the case. Because there was another one in the store. It's probably cheaper, but it was just the game itself. You can see that we got the little thing on the top. There's the other one. See, there's your full title. All right, see what's inside. And wow, there's actually a lot. All right, so pull this out real quick. All right, so we have that little information. But look, back when they actually did real, honest to God booklets and games, I love these. And look, it's full color even on the back. That's cool. All right, let's see if it's in color inside. And oh, yes, it is. These are really cool. Look at that. Back when there was some actual, stuff. And look at that. You can go to Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan. There's Nightmare Before Christmas and stuff. It's just too cool. But yeah, this is actually pretty cool. Now, they haven't redone these games completely for like the bigger consoles and stuff. But what they have done is they've done these cutscenes with them. And there's actually, as I understand it, like two DS games. The only one I think on the DS that they actually redid was for the 3DS, and that was Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. And I actually have that. And as you can see here, there's also one of the other special characters for this set. There's the cartridge. Let's just take that out real quick. So, DS cartridge, pretty cool. Like I say, I could probably have gotten this for probably cheaper without the case and stuff, but no, I'm not going to do that. I also love that DS cases also have an additional slot up top for Game Boy Advance games, which is pretty cool. So you can put your Game Boy Advance collection in there too. That's actually really cool. Um, Sorry about this, but I wanted to show off Final Fantasy Tactics. But the thing is that when I got it and I was headed home, I was in the parking lot, I could hear this rustling around, and I realized the disc was out. So I had to unbox it to protect the disc and stuff. So sorry ahead of time. So, but yeah, the disc is intact. 4K ultras are a little bit more, a little bit more, in my opinion, fragile than the older Blu-rays. No advertisement for that. Pretty cool. They also have this game on the DS and the Switch and the Switch 2, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, this was like the only one that was a little downside. Nothing you can really do about it. All right. Before we get to, in fact, I think it's fitting that we do both these Tron ones last. All right. So we have Tron Ares soundtrack. This was heavily available. Um, no luck in finding Tron One or Tron Legacy on CD. So bigger. I love the fact what it's doing here. Tron music by Nine Inch Nails. It's very thin. That's pretty cool. All right, we're going in. Okay. Cool. I do love like getting CDs and vinyls. The vinyls are for, more my personal music and stuff, like hearing good quality, and then the CDs like are all around being more accessible. But sometimes they don't sound as good. I don't know why that is. All right. And I think we should have the same. Yeah, we do. We have the same thing as we have with the vinyl. That's pretty cool. Oh, and this first one is where all the liner stuff is. Pretty cool. And here's the CD. CD doesn't look as good as like the vinyl CD. Also, it's all black on the inside. That's pretty cool. All right, that's cool. Nice little thing. All right, last one is of course going to be this. So here's how it works. We turn around and you can see him inside. He's got his own little cool case stuff. And I'm kind of wondering what's here. All right, like it says, arcade display. So here we go. There's also another one like this with Sonic too, which I think is kind of cool. And I have both Sam and Cora from Disney Infinity figures, and I'm thinking, why not them into that? I wanted them playing that game. All right. All right, so here we go. I love the fact that even the plastic says Disney Tron here. So let's take, crap. There's a, all right, good. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so here's the arcade cabinet. But here's the cool thing. It's like pop on the back, but check this out. That's cool. That's cool. That is just cool. You have Prawn and Stark on the side in pop form. That's pretty cool. Oh, that would be cool if they had actually made that a little movable and stuff. They didn't. Plus, you have the little. Oh, and look here. You have grid symbols. There's Stark. There's Prawn. That's pretty cool. All right. And then we have, of course, Tron in his little case. I love the fact that they make the minis look like, like they're actual things. Tron, pretty cool. Doing the top. The only difference is the bottom. All right, now here he is out. There's Tron, but and I see how this works. See, look here. There's a little thing. He doesn't just sit in. He actually slides in, and that's too cool. And the fact that they have this arcade setup is pretty awesome. So Tron's in there. So that makes great. I'll have this little normal plastic case, and I have a few of these already. I have several of the Nightmare Before Christmas sets and stuff too. So that's really cool. So guys, I hope you like and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Also, I was really happy to get my hands on that Trek set, especially since it was under 200 and it's normally over three, like 20 or something online. Oh God. And also I want to get, this played, and I definitely want to try my new Game Gear game. I'm happy because I have a Game Gear. Plus, if everything works out, I'll also in the future be getting a sort of more modern portable Sega Genesis player, like I have with my Super Nintendo, the Super Boy. So that's pretty cool. We'll see how it works. We'll pop some games in and stuff. Anyways, guys, like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I'll see you later. Bye.